Stacy, a freelance writer with a penchant for the mysterious, lived a life draped in normalcy until that humid, stormy Thursday. Her days typically fluttered between scribing articles and savoring quiet evenings with her old, creaky typewriter. Yet, her heart always yearned for a story that could shake the very core of her readers' souls, a tale that blurred the lines between reality and the paranormal. It was during one such evening, as rain danced against her window panes, that she received an email that prickled her spine. A visit from a renowned archaeologist, Dr. Harold Finch. The message was brief, but it bristled with an urgency that was palpable even through the digital words. Dr. Finch, known in academic circles for his controversial theories and eccentric personality, claimed to have unearthed artifacts that whispered of the old world, and insisted on discussing them with Stacy personally. Intrigue swelled within her like a tide. Her mind buzzed with questions. What secrets did these ancient relics hold? Why choose her for this revelation? As the day of the meeting drew closer, Stacy's anticipation built into a crescendo. She prepared her home for the visit, each tick of the clock a reminder of the approaching enigma. Books on ancient civilizations were strewn across her coffee table, notes scribbled in the margins. She imagined the artifacts, dusty, mysterious, filled with stories of a forgotten era. Little did she know, her life was about to skew into realms she had only dared to explore in her writings. The day Dr. Finch arrived, the air was thick with an unseasonal fog that seemed to swallow up the little light left in the evening sky. Stacy greeted him at the door, her nerves jittering beneath a calm facade. He was a tall man, his back slightly hunched, eyes bright and piercing beneath bushy brows. His coat was damp, and he carried a leather case that seemed as ancient as the artifacts it purportedly contained. Dr. Finch wasted no time, delving into tales of his latest excavation in Egypt. With each artifact he pulled from his case, a faded papyrus, a cracked scarab, a strange metallic orb, his voice grew more fervent, his hands more animated. Stacy listened, rapt and slightly unnerved, as he spoke of curses and the whispers of the long dead echoing through these relics. The room seemed to grow colder with every word, the shadows deeper. But it was the final item he presented that truly sent shivers down her spine. A small obsidian mirror, unremarkable at first glance. But as Stacy peered into it, she swore she saw shadows flickering at its edge, as if something lurked just beyond her view. Dr. Finch watched her reaction closely, a thin smile slicing his weathered face. "This," he said softly, "is the heart of our mystery." As the evening progressed, the air between them thickened with tales of ancient rites and the dangerous power of forgotten gods. Stacy, usually a skeptic, found herself drawn into the labyrinth of Dr. Finch's stories. She began to feel a strange connection with the artifacts, as if they resonated with a part of her soul she never knew existed. As the storm outside intensified, so did the atmosphere within the room. Dr. Finch leaned closer, his eyes intent, as he whispered about the true nature of the obsidian mirror. "It's not just a mirror," he confided. "It's a gateway, a portal to what lies beyond." He spoke of a curse that bound the mirror, one that promised power but at a grave cost. Stacy felt a chill crawl up her spine. Her rational mind screamed for skepticism, but the primal, curious part of her was captivated. She asked, voice barely a whisper, "What cost?" Finch's answer was a look of solemnity mixed with an inexplicable glee. "Transformation," he said, "into something beyond human understanding." The room seemed to darken as he spoke, the wind howling like the cries of the damned. Stacy's heart pounded fiercely in her chest as she gazed again into the mirror. This time she didn't just see shadows, she saw eyes, gleaming with malevolent hunger, staring back at her. Dr. Finch's voice became a distant echo as she felt an invisible force tug at the core of her being, pulling her towards an abyss she had no hope of escaping. She stumbled back, breath ragged, as the realization hit her. This was no mere story. She was part of something ancient, something terrifyingly real. The artifacts were not just relics, they were remnants of a dark power. And now, that power was awakening within her. The night grew old, and Dr. Finch departed, leaving behind the artifacts and a heavy, pulsating energy that seemed to envelop Stacy. Alone, she could no longer deny the eerie transformation unfolding within her. The mirror had awakened something dormant. A dark whisper in her mind urged her to embrace it, to let go of her humanity and delve into the secrets it offered. She fought it. Initially, nights were spent in terror, jumping at shadows and the faintest sounds. Her dreams were haunted by visions of ancient rites and whispering spirits. Yet, with each passing day, the resistance waned. The whisper grew into a voice clear and commanding. It promised knowledge, power, the secrets of the universe, if only she would submit. One fateful evening, Stacy stood before the mirror once more, a decision teetering at the edge of her sanity. The reflection showed her, not as she was, but as she could be. Powerful, eternal, unbound by mortal limits. The temptation was overpowering. With a trembling hand, she reached out, touching the cold, smooth surface of the mirror. The transformation was instant, exhilarating, and terrifying. As the new dawn crept through her curtains, the woman who looked back at her from the mirror was no longer just Stacy. She was something other, something ancient and powerful. Her eyes held the depth of centuries. Her very presence felt like a force of nature. She had crossed a threshold from which there was no return. Stacy's encounter with Dr. Finch marked the beginning of a new existence, one steeped in mystery and darkness. Her old life as a writer seemed a distant memory, a faint echo of her past self. The transformation was complete, irreversible, and filled with both dread and awe. The artifacts, especially the obsidian mirror, had not just altered her, they had reborn her into a narrative more profound than any she could have written. As the sun rose, casting light on her changed visage, Stacy knew her journey was just beginning. The real stories, the ones that whispered of ancient curses and hidden realms, awaited her embrace. And somewhere, in the shadowy corners of her mind, she felt the stirring of other entities, other stories waiting to be told. For those who have followed Stacy's chilling journey tonight, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Freddy K Stories to catch the next nightmare come true. Who knows what shadows we might explore next?